Hey, what's up? It's me, Awesome Alley.
And I'm Raisa. Welcome back to 90 Days to Becoming an Awesome Person.
Woo!
Today is day 52, and as always, we're going to start it off with our quote of the day.
Thank you, Raisa. Today's quote of the day is by Confucius. Many of you have probably heard this quote before. So Confucius said, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." Once again, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Confucius. Raisa, give us your thoughts, your comments, perspective. Go ahead.
All right, thanks, Allie. So, with this quote, it's actually very interesting because instead of focusing on the quote today, I actually want to give a little bit of insight and background into the actual author of this quote, which was Confucius. Now, Confucius's quote was, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." And what's very interesting is that his philosophy was actually one of the religions in ancient China, but it wasn't treated as a religion. Again, the key word is philosophy. It was treated as a philosophy. So people would kind of look up to him, and he had these really big values of respect. And I think because he had this philosophical take on things, this is why he came up with this quote, because one thing about respect is also not only having respect for others, but also having respect for yourself. So a few weeks ago we were talking about if you need to slow down a little bit, that's okay. And now we have Confucius backing us up by saying it's okay to slow down. A lot of times people would say like, oh, go fast, do things quickly. That's fine. But when you slow down and you take your time, you can actually produce some really great results as long as you're not stopping. So that's what my thought is on that. We also have a guest. Hi.
Sup, Mac? Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Good morning. Ashley says good morning. Good morning. If you're joining us, make sure to grab your free 30-day journal PDF by clicking the link on Instagram in our bio, on Facebook in the description. Get your 30 days worth of quotes, your daily planners, your tips for the day, and also your reflection pages along with much more. So once again, if you just joined us, the quote is, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." Confucius. All right, so with this, it doesn't matter how slowly you go. So your pace, your progress that you're achieving at something it does not matter. Whether it's fast, whether it's slow, or whether you're taking your time, right? As long as you do not stop, that's what the important part is. Staying consistent, staying persistent, staying confident in your idea that you're doing the right thing. And the question then becomes like, Raisa, how do you know when it's like not enough, right? Like, how do you know when it's time to turn around? Okay, well, let's say you're an entrepreneur. You should be looking for 3 things with your new idea, right? As an entrepreneur, your job is to find a pain in society and then create a solution for it, right? So the first thing is, like, is it viable? So can you make money from it? Is it feasible? How long will it take to, get it up and running? And then the last one is, do people actually want it, right? Like, what is the desirability for it? So if you can have all these 3 sectors with a good check mark, right? So it's not too thin, it's not too broad, right? Well, actually, no, that doesn't matter. It's not too, like, small enough of an audience that you're not actually going to be making enough money with it, right? You want to make sure it can help a lot of people. So making sure that it's feasible, then people actually want it, so you can make money from it and people want it. That's most important, because if you're leaving out one of these pieces of the triangle, then you're already limited outside of the gate. So that's how I would say, like, all right, that's when you could stop. At that point, if you're finally figuring it out, and if you're actually putting 100% in every single day, though, right? Like 110% every single day to build it up, because that's when you'll start to see the results that you want. If you're not, then you're just not getting the results that you want, and that's why, because you've not put in 110% yet. It's still considered a hobby at that point. So thank you for joining. The quote again is, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." Confucius. Raisa, what is our tip for today?
Okay, so we actually have a comment. Mech put, who did the painting in the back, by the way. Thank you so much. So we don't actually know. This one here, Ali did. And
this one up here,
the Guyana one, we actually don't know who did it, but my dad bought it from somewhere. I think it was, he bought it from somewhere. It's pretty, isn't it?
Mhm.
It has like all these different textures, and if you look up really close, it has like like a gloss over it, so it's really nice. And then the whole Guyana it's textured with like some kind of material, so it kind of shows like the way of the land. Very, very like multi different mediums on it. Makes it very interesting. Okay, so thank you for the comments. If you like the painting, we like the painting too. Let's move on to the tip of the day. So the tip of the day is doubt is a signal of process and that you're doing it right. And this is from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Now, this is a very interesting tip for today because I think it kind of rewires your thinking in a way that we don't necessarily always think that doubt helps us, right? When we doubt, we think like, oh, it's a bad thing and I'm not doing something right and I'm not confident. But what she's saying here now is the opposite, is that when you start to feel a little bit of doubt and that little bit of like kind of being hesitant, she's saying, no, that's a signal of process. That's a signal of you moving out of your shell to do whatever you need to do. And I think that's a very interesting thing to keep in mind if you're doing a project or you're in your business and there's something that you're kind of doubting, keep going with it. It also relates to the quote where it's like, sometimes people quit right when they're next to the finish line or something, or that concept. Or if you see on Instagram, there's always a picture of a guy who's like two guys digging for gold.
Yeah.
And the guy who quits misses the biggest diamond and he was almost there versus the guy who kept going and he still doesn't even get half the size, but he kept going to these diamonds. So she's saying like, don't quit because you could be at the very end of where you need to be, and that could be your success.
Mm-hmm. Like, also remember that the average business takes like 5 years for it to see its massive growth, right? To see its real, true potential. We'll see that around the 5-year mark. 5 to 7 year mark is when you'll see that big growth in the business. If it's already growing, it's doing fantastic. Around the 5 to 7 year mark, it'll either explode or it will stay flatline. So that's something to look out for right there. Also, doubt is a signal of process and that you are doing it right. Doubt. I like this. I agree with this because once you start to doubt yourself, right, I feel that that's like it's yourself saying, okay, I'm not sure if I'm doing this 100% right. And that's because there's some things in the world that you just can't explain, right? And I sometimes think that doubt is that form trying to back you up and saying, okay, no, you're doing it right, but it's just coming out in the wrong way, right? In the terms of like intuitional doubt, right? That's what we're talking about here. When you start to doubt your intuition and your and what you're actually doing, that's what I'm talking about here, not what anybody else for the word actual doubt means. So yeah, that's what I had to say on that. Is sometimes I think doubt is just trying to reinforce the words that you can't explain for why something is right. So you start to doubt yourself instead because you can't explain it. So that is our tip for today and your quote for today. Once again, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Confucius. And your tip is doubt is a signal of process and that you are doing it right. Reza, make sure to grab your free 30-day journal PDF. Actually, you can click that on Instagram in our bio, on Facebook in the description, YouTube description also. Grab that. Join us on your next 30 days of becoming an awesome person in 30-day journey. Fantastic. Race, do you have anything else to close out the live?
Nope. I think it's good. Just,
be awesome. All right. This was presented by APSO. Awesome people.
Shaping our world.
Remember, you are awesome.
And you can make the world a better place.